this is Amber from LoveFit, and I wanted to talk today about why you don't want to be doing sit-ups and stuff in the postnatal period. I feel like I talk about this all the time, but perhaps I don't, because yet again I was having a conversation with some friends yesterday, and one of them, you know, we've all had babies sort of 3 to 4 months ago, and one of them actually said to me, well, not to me, just to the group, "Oh, it's time to do some sit-ups, ladies," kind of pointing to her belly. And I was like, no, no, no. And without wanting to look like an overreaction, in a nutshell, these are the reasons why. So for those of you who've got no idea about this, basically, sit-up type movements create a lot of pressure on your abdominals. A lot of pressure. That move of crunching up forces the belly out. So if you've noticed when you get out of bed that you get this kind of doming effect, or if you just feel like you don't feel well held together anymore, which is completely normal after having a baby, then you absolutely don't want to go anywhere near sit-ups, crunches, planks, which load pressure into the front of the belly. Same goes for, as much as I hate to say it, kettlebell swings. I love my kettlebells and I'm using them, but not for swinging, because that swing motion, that explosive force forwards, should finish in a plank position. There's a lot of pressure through your core. So until this midline, this section here where the abdominals meet, is really back together and feeling strong, you should not be putting extra pressure on it. So I hope that makes sense. A lot of people say to me, "Oh, I don't have a diastasis," which is when you get the separation of the abdominal muscles. But even if you don't, your tissue takes, a good year to repair, and some of those ligaments and things up to 3 years. Now, I'm not saying there are certain, that you shouldn't be doing things for a year or 3 years, but certainly in the early postpartum period, there is nothing to be gained, even if you don't have a discernible gap, and you can see my video on testing for a diastasis to check if you have. But even if you don't have a gap, even if you feel quite fit and strong, your abdominal wall, your core will be compromised, it will be weakened, and adding pressure is not going to do you any help whatsoever. So even if you feel like you're in good shape and there's no gapping, by doing sit-ups thinking it's going to flatten your tummy, you'll probably find it goes the other way. You'll make it bulge out, you'll weaken the abdominal wall further, and you'll end up with more of a pooch, that little belly that you can't get rid of, the mummy tummy as people like to call it. So do not go doing your sit-ups. There's nothing to be gained from them. If you want to flatten your tummy, first of all, if you do have a diastasis, focus on trying to bring that back together. And the best thing for this, as much as you won't want to hear me say this, is good restorative exercise. Lots of breathing, working on that core synergy. So when you inhale, feeling the belly and the ribs expand, and when you exhale, feeling it all come down, and then pulling up the pelvic floor at the same time. So working on that breathing work is really going to be the first step to healing. When that feels good, making sure you're working in optimal position and optimal posture when you're lifting the baby, pushing the buggy, carrying the baby, doing things around the house, and certainly when you're doing other exercise. So really good posture, not allowing your bum to stick out, not arching back too much. All of those things are going to help bring that core back together. And then, as with any person, whether you're pre, postnatal or otherwise, doing big full body movements are going to be the best thing. Now, in the postnatal period, lots of jumping around is not beneficial, again, mainly because of a weakened pelvic floor. But nice, lovely squats are great. Lunges, side to side, forward and back, on the spot, up and down. Assisted press-ups, so maybe press-ups where you're standing up, as I've shown you in some of my other videos. Exercises to work your back, so rows and these ones you can do against the wall here. All of those things that get these big muscles working is all going to help stabilise your core and is going to help burn fat. But that shouldn't be your main focus anyway in this period. But yeah, that's what you want to be doing to flatten the tummy. Please stay away from the sit-ups, especially if you have a baby that's under 6 months, regardless of your situation. Under 6 months, I would just say don't go there. Same with running, for reasons I will discuss in another video. If you are 6 months plus postpartum, then depending on how you're feeling, you might want to introduce some sit-ups. But again, just remember what you're doing them for. If it's about trying to flatten your tummy, the sit-ups aren't necessarily going to get you there. Focus on your nutrition, focus on restorative work and healing, and focus on big compound movements. Okay, I hope that's helpful. I'll see you in another video. Bye.